Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cleveland Stage Door. My name is Jimmy Davis, and welcome to another episode. I am here with special guests Hatty Ryan King and Caitlin Sams from Dear Evan Hansen. Hello, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning, Jimmy.
How are you guys doing? Where are
We
you
are
guys at right
well.
now?
Coming to you from Melbourne, Florida.
In Florida, so we got some sunshine going on today.
Well, enjoy it while it lasts, because it's not gonna be sunshine when you come to visit good old Akron. It's gonna be cold and it's gonna be gloomy. So here in a couple weeks. It's actually quite warm right now. It's actually about 70 right now, shockingly. It's usually about 45 to 50 degrees. This is hottest it's ever been for right now here in Northeast Ohio. So hopefully it stays a little bit more warmer for you guys. But we're very excited. Dear Evan Hansen's coming to EJ Thomas Hall November 12th and 13th for 2 days for Broadway in Akron, the Broadway in Akron series. Um, Hattie, you play Zoe, and Caitlin, you play Cynthia. Let's start off with a question about the show. Tell me, is this show more about like the risks of social media, or what's the show about more like?
There's definitely a lot of things that include social media and the part that it plays in our lives and the way that it connects us, but also the ways that it can isolate us. That's definitely a theme of the show. Um, but in terms of the story, it's definitely about a high school senior, Evan, who gets caught up in a lie that really spirals out of control, and he faces some pretty serious consequences because of it.
Absolutely. So tell me, Caitlin, you play Cynthia, the mom of Connor and Zoe. How is it playing a parent in a show like this, especially with the 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 heaviness of this show?
There definitely is a lot of heaviness. I'm not a parent myself, but what I've really enjoyed about playing Cynthia is I am at a time in my life where a lot of people around me have kids, and I can remember my parents being at a time in their life where they would have been in really, a period of struggle in their life, and thinking back now to like how hard they must have been trying and just like really feeling for them in that moment in ways that I wouldn't have had the capacity to empathize with them when I was a teenager. Um, and also like being one of the older cast members, I do feel a little bit like a mom to everybody. And especially like adorable Hattie who plays my daughter. And so yeah, I definitely think I relate to the struggle of somebody who is really just doing their best, and it doesn't always work out the way that you want it to, which can be tough to play every night, but that's a part of the gig.
Absolutely. And would you say this is a great show for parents to come and see? Like,
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think this is a great show for parents and high schoolers to come to together. I think there's a lot of great conversations that this show could spark about just the things that you struggle with at different times in your life. I think there's a lot that people can come together about after seeing this show.
now, Hattie, tell us about your character, Zoe Murphy. What is she about?
So Zoe is the younger sister of Connor, who clearly is in their family. I always say like a bit of like a problem child. And so kind of because of that, I feel like Zoe has grown up learning to take care of her own needs because her parents are very caught up with the fact that their son has a lot of needs, going to, they talk about it in the show, therapy, rehab, all the things. So she's kind of learned to just take care of herself and not really expect for people to cater to the things that she needs and she's going through. And I think because of that, she breeds a lot of like anger and resentment. So that's a lot of what you see from her towards the beginning of the show. I think also because of that, she grows up being very observant. She's very smart, very intelligent because she's done kind of like a lot of the inner work on herself. I'm sure she's gone to her own therapy and all the things, as I think a lot of people in this show do. So she often kind of sees through the facade that I think a lot of the different characters are putting up. But at the same time, she's 16, so she has all of these like very intelligent thoughts, but I think doesn't always have like the emotional capacity or tact to actually like maturely communicate them or deal with them. So we see a lot of that like teen angst come from her. She kind of gives it to her mom pretty hard. Um, but yeah, she's very much like a free spirit kind of character, and then ultimately she ends up being the main character, Evan's girlfriend. And so she kind of deals with a bit of fallout from the way that everything in the show kind of comes to a head. Yeah.
And one thing I noticed about the show is like you have a kind of a rocky relationship with your parents. Like, can you dive more into that?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of, as I mentioned, I think from childhood, Zoe learns to not look to her parents for much like emotional support, help, really anything. Like, I think she kind of grows up taking care of herself, and then after her brother passes away, it kind of feels like all her parents' attention like fully turns to her, and there's a pretty tough scene with Zoe's mother, like where she's like, "Hey, how was your day at school?" All this stuff, and Zoe's like, "Why are you? What are you trying to do here? Like, we've never had this relationship before, and just because my brother is gone doesn't mean all of a sudden you and I are going to be like buddy buddy." So that's kind of the tough relationship. Of course, Zoe's not it doesn't have the perspective that I as a person have where I'm like, "Oh, she's just trying her best. Like her mom is just trying to like do whatever she can." But towards the end, I think they really find some beautiful common ground, and that relationship definitely finds some healing, which I'm very grateful for.
Absolutely. And the pivot off of that, Kaylin, to me it seemed like when I saw the show that there was that relationship between Cynthia and Evan was very important to the show. How did you develop that?
Yeah, it is pretty crucial, because that's the whole thing with Evan is he gets caught up in this lie because Cynthia's devastation over the loss of her son is so great that he does invent this lie for a reason that feels helpful in the moment, which is like trying to give something to this grieving mother that she can hold on to. And and the thing is he is very successful in that because I mean, when you see the Murphys, the whole Murphy family at the beginning of the show are really fractured. They're each of them in a totally different place, really struggling to connect with one another and to find any sort of family harmony. Um, and it is through the kind of difficult process of creating this relationship with Evan over a relationship that turned out even not to be real. Through that, they actually do find some reconciliation with one another because I think they're forced to really confront the truth about their family in a way that they hadn't had to before. And that is the thing that eventually lands them in a place where they can be more at peace with one another.
That's that's beautifully said. Let me ask you this. Let's pivot from the show into something a little bit more personal. What is one thing you have to do in every city you visit? And this is for both of you.
I mean, we're all. I feel like everybody is always on the hunt for a good cup of coffee. Just like permanently, just like where is it at? Where's the good coffee? I don't know. I'm always looking to like get outside. Like I'm a big fan of just like no matter where we are, just like walking around and seeing what I can find, and I usually end up finding like things I never expected. Um, but if you have any local recommendations in Akron, we'll certainly take them.
Yeah, for me,
Definitely.
it's definitely coffee. Starbucks is great, but there's so many coffee shops all around the world, and I want to go to all of them.
Definitely. We'll definitely pass along some recommendations to both of you for that. Let me let me finish up by asking you both this. What is one thing you've learned so far on the road? I know you guys are both newer for this tour starting in September. One thing you've learned so far on the road with this cast?
I feel like I learned some. I'm definitely new to touring, but I feel like I learn more about myself every day. In this show in particular, because it's so emotionally demanding, I think I'm learning like new depths of like my capacity to really drop into these heavier emotions. And obviously like needing to go to like pretty deep dark places like every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. I'm really learning like the things that help me get there, and the things that also then help me stay in not that place when I am off the stage, because I still want to live my life as a normal, adjusted, non-hysterical person. So I'm definitely learning like how to navigate that every day, and like keep myself at the ready emotionally all the time. And also this is a normal actor thing, but drinking way more water than I think I need to, because I do find if I'm well hydrated, I can cry more on stage, which I would have expected.
Interesting. Very interesting.
For me, I think I'm learning a lot about self-care. Obviously, the demands of touring are much different than when you're just living in one place and waking up and every day doing your job. We have a lot of travel. We have a lot of early mornings. We have a lot of long bus days. So I think what I'm really learning is how to take care of me, and that looks very different than the way that other people might need to take care of themselves. So I'm working really hard to just be intentional with myself and be diligent about when I need sleep, when I need water, food, um, recharge time, social time. All of those things have their different time and place.
That's great. That's so to end the conversation for both of you, what is one hope that if a high schooler does come see this show, what's one hope that they take away from the show?
I hope that they do take away the message of one of the anthems of the show is the song you will be found, and that's what I hope people can take away, especially high schoolers, because that can be a time in your life that is just you know the world seems so big, and you can feel like there's so much being demanded of you from every aspect of your life, and I do hope that they walk away just feeling like other people are with them, and ready to see them in their struggle, and that really you you really aren't alone. Everybody is going through something.
Hmm. Similar to what Caitlin just said, for me, it's along with the "you will be found." It's the idea that you have to put yourself out there. This another theme that's like step into the sun, like step into the light, allow people to see you, because if you keep yourself hidden, then you don't even give people the chance to connect with you, to see you, to be your friend, to reach out to you, to find you. So it does take that little piece of bravery on the front end of being like, okay, I'm gonna let people see myself, and I think that yields a positive result more often than people might realize.
That's both great. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me this week. Dear Evan Hansen is going to be at EJ Thomas Hall, part of the Broadway in Akron, November 12th and 13th. Tickets are on sale now at playoffscore.org. We can't wait to welcome both of you to Akron. We hope it's going to be a great time for the 2 days that you guys are here. I'm very excited that I'll be there November 12th to see the show again. So I can't wait to see both of you there.
Thanks, Jimmy. We appreciate it.